Hello, everybody. Welcome to Townsend 909, or welcome back if you're a lovely viewer. Today, me and Bryer from Bryer's Music Showcase, we'll be doing a retrospective on the Mamas and Papas. Yeah, we finished their discography just last week. Yesterday, me and Jason did a retrospective on Simon and Garfunkel. Now we get to do it, Mamas and Papas. Anything you'd like to say about the Mamas and Papas? What they did right? What they did wrong? Anything you'd like to say?
Yeah, so quite a bit. But yeah, this was definitely a very fun discography to kind of explore because I definitely knew. I mean, before this whole series, I only knew the debut album. That was pretty much all I knew, and I guess at that point, I didn't really see any see any point to venture further. Oh, kitty. uh, sorry. But uh, where was I? Oh yeah, yeah. So anyway, so I was just stuck with the debut. I didn't really think about venturing further, but then brought the idea of exploring the Mamas and Papas. I'm like, okay, might as well give it a go. There might be hidden gems, and for the most part, yeah, I was kind of proven right because yeah, there were definitely a lot of hidden gems throughout this catalog. Um, yeah, there was just, I mean, the debut goes without saying, but even the albums afterward, yeah, definitely some great surprises here. And yeah, we'll talk more about the albums as we go along, as we do our top ten and our album rankings. But yeah, just definitely the big thing about this group was, of course, the big standout was their vocal harmony, and that's pretty much what most people remember them best. Because yeah, I mean, you have two male singers and two female singers, and they blend beautifully well together. And I'd say all four of them are really strong singers. Obviously, we have our favorites, but I think all four of them together just makes this very unique sound that really made them stand out in 60s music, 60s scene. Um, so just quickly run down, but yeah, like and I mean, they're definitely a band. They're definitely not perfect. Just even though they've only released 5 albums, some of them are definitely a lot stronger than others. I kind of like to think of it like they started very high with the first two, then they kind of dip a little bit on the third, then they come back up a little bit on the fourth, and then by the fifth they kind of drop completely. Um, but but it's still a pretty solid catalog. Good, nice selection of songs, and yeah, for the most part, I was pretty happy going through this whole journey. So yeah, I'm kind of glad I was a part of this one.
Yeah, this is. I was sort of like you at first. I only knew their first album, but when I heard, I saw her again on the radio. I was like, "Wow, this is a good song." I don't know why I haven't gone any deeper besides the first
Mhm.
album. I listened to the second album. I didn't quite like it as much as the first album at first, but it's grown to be. It's I like it now. I'm not gonna say where it's on my list. Um, I listened to basically the rest of the catalog. Well, I listened to all the '60s albums, and I don't know. After looking at the fifth album cover, I'm like, yeah, this doesn't look like an album I'm gonna like. Sort of put off listening to that for a very long time. Then when I did listen to it, my very low expectations were met because it was not that good. Um, I will say, even in the '60s, there still were problems in the '60s. The first two albums I have no problems with, but I'll go more in depth on that when we do our album ranking. But
Mhm.
yeah, they're
And
very great pop band. Like I said with Simon and Garfunkel, they did a lot more right than wrong. Uh, even though they have one big wrong in their catalog. Uh, but like I said, we'll get more into that when we go to our album ranking. But yeah, um, like I said with Jason, when we do a big discography like the Birds, we'll find more things to nitpick about. But I don't know. Besides a certain album, I can't think of much to critique about for the Mamas Papas.
no, no, not really. Yeah, and just one other thing I wanted to point out about them. Also their history was also very fascinating to kind of go through. I knew the general stuff. Like I knew that, of course, the whole love rectangle that they had was definitely huge. Was definitely a big contender why they broke up. But even this thing surrounding it was also kind of interesting, especially the origin story of how they got together and the things that led up to the debut. Yeah, it's just a very fascinating band, and yeah, I'd say they're definitely pretty underrated. I don't hear many people talk about them that often, aside from maybe of course their biggest songs. But yeah, but other than that, yeah, it's just a very fascinating stuff.
Yeah, well, I thought they were good enough to put in the rock and roll, not rock and roll, the music hall of fame. So that should tell you what I think about the Mamas and Papas.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and I said this in the video too that in terms of like 60 fans, I think the top three in terms of harmonies is the Beatles, the Hollies, and well, my favorite's the Hollies. I say the Mamas and Papas, and I always say the Beatles. Those are my top three in that order. Um, I think the only two bands that had any chance of competing with the Mamas and Papas is the Hollies and was it the Beatles. But like I think the harmonies is better than the Beach Boys. I think it's better than the Birds. I think it's better than some of the Garfunkel. There's a bunch of 60s bands where I think the Mamas and Papas were better at harmonies wise. And well, there will be a band in the 70s that could that will prove that it's kind of named after a certain person that's in charge of England at the time. I think it may or may not be Brier's favorite band or something, but
Maybe I don't know what you're
well,
talking about
the
though.
70s band will prove to be in my opinion the best harmony wise, but
Mm.
we're getting way too ahead of ourselves on that. Yeah, but yeah, like we mostly do. We'll do top 10. Briar goes first. I go next, and then once we get to the top two, after our top two, our second favorite, we'll do honorable mentions, and then we'll do our favorite.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Briar, what's your number 10?
All right. 10 favorite song. So the first song we're going to start with their self-titled album. Second one, and I'm going to start with "Trip, Stumble, and Fall." Definitely a song that's grown more the more I hear it. Again, it has this very, this very catchy, you're gonna trip, stumble, and fall. Like that whole melody just kind of gets stuck in your head the more you hear it, and it's also pretty. It's kind of ironic because thing that surprised me most about the Mamas and the Papas, like it always kind of surprised me. Just sometimes they can be pretty mean spirited with their lyrics, especially this song, telling this person they're gonna trip, stumble, and fall, and all that stuff. Like, jeez. But still, it's just a very catchy, just a great kind of 60s pop sort of sound. Again, kind of juxtaposing the lyrics again, kind of adding that juxtaposition there. It's kind of always kind of fun. But yeah, great vocals all around and harmonies throughout this one. And yeah, I don't have much to say about it, but it's just a very fun, very good pop song.
That's a good pick. Sally that didn't make it on my top 10. Uh, I love that song so much though, but Sally that didn't make it on my top 10. Really wanted it to though.
Mm.
My number 10 is going to be Hey Girl from their debut album. I love this song. It's just so catchy. I love the opening bass line.
Mm.
And just the way that they harmonize, it's just that's probably my favorite part of it. Hey girl, I know you're feeling down, sad
Mhm.
and blue. It's just man, that is just to me, it's just like these 10 songs. I mean, they have a lot of amazing songs in a short span of time.
Mhm.
Like, like I'd say 40, 44 of these 48 songs I love a lot. But yeah, very, very, very hard to pick top 10 songs. I mentioned it before we started this. I'm like, yeah, very, very hard. But yeah, that's my number 10. Hey Girl.
Yeah, pretty good one. All right, my number 9. I'm still gonna stick with the second album, and I'm gonna go with probably the biggest hit on here, and that was "I Saw Her Again" last night. Uh, again, it's one of their big hits. Again, it has this very upbeat sound, but again, kind of talking about because I know John wrote this because of Michelle's affair with Denny. But regardless, they still make still a great song from it. Again, great harmonies once again. And I love the strings on this on the song as well. Um, yeah, when they put some strings into their music, like that's definitely always a nice highlight to hear. Um, but yeah, it's just another really fun, really great song, and again, kind of sums up their turmoil, especially in this particular time period. But yeah, that's number nine.
That's a good one. My number 9 is "You Baby" from their debut album. So you start off with two songs from the self-titled. I started off with two songs from the debut. That yeah, "You Baby" comes right after "Hey Girl." Again, the harmonies are just amazing. I love the way Denny sings that song. A little ray of sunshine.
Hmm.
It's just, and then Mama Cass is like, "It's the greatest thing since rock and roll." It's like I like the Turtles version, but nothing beats the Mamas and Papas version. I know the Turtles is the one that's the more popular version, but I don't know. I think the Mamas and Papas version should have been released as a single.
Mm.
Definitely has a lot of single worthy aspects to it. Yeah, I'm surprised it's only an album track. Really good.
Right, nice. Okay, number eight. Okay, so I'm gonna go to their fourth album, The Papas and the Mamas, and I'm gonna go with Mansions. So, um, you know, there's usually two things I'm a sucker for. I'm a sucker for ballads, and I'm a sucker for more, kind of more. I don't know. Whenever a band are primarily a kind of more happy-go-lucky, but then all of a sudden they decide to go for a more darker approach. And this song definitely starts out with a very different, very melancholic, almost kind of haunting vibe to it. We kind of talked about it in the review, but of course this was just John kind of you know talking about fame and all the pressures that come with it. And I think this song really does a great job of painting that picture with just the music and the vocals. And what's also very interesting about the song is that like about the halfway point it switches up, and then it goes back to like this kind of goes back to the more traditional happy sound. But then it kind of then at some point it reverts back to the uh, melancholic uh, more melancholic sound that the beginning did. But yeah, it's just it's kind of it's definitely one of those songs that definitely stand out from the rest of from a lot of the music that they've done. So yeah, this was definitely a very intriguing listen, and generally that makes it very memorable for me. So that is number eight.
I'm so glad that's on your top 10. Yeah, I have two of the three songs that I nicknamed the Fame trilogy.
Hmm.
I'm not gonna say which ones, but I'm just glad Mansions is on your list. My number 8, I'm gonna go to their self-titled album from 1966. And that's gonna be the big hit off of it. I Saw Her Again.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's a fantastic song. Kind of what you said, very very mean spirited, but that's a great song. Yeah, I'm surprised I had it higher than you did. But yeah, that's an amazing song. I Saw Her Again.
Nice. Okay, so number seven. Still sticking. I mean, so far I've done two from the self-titled, and I'm done, and this is my second from the Papas and the Mamas. I have 12:30, number seven. Okay, again, very catchy song. Again, just a really great melody to it. Again, the vocals are just like sound very nice, um, all the way through. I don't have a whole lot to say about it, but it's just again definitely one of the standout songs from that album. Um, it's definitely one of my favorites on it as well. But yeah, it's a really good song.
Yeah, that just barely didn't make it on my top 10. It was like number 11.
Mhm.
Sadly didn't make it. My number 7 is from self-titled. So kind of like you, two from each so far. That's gonna be "Strange Young Girls." The song right after I Saw Her Again. I won't lie, I wasn't as big into the song at first. Even Bryer said it himself, it was kind of like that. But this song has become one of my favorites. I mean, it's in my top 10, so take it as you will. But it's just so haunting and
Hmm.
beautiful, and the way that they harmonize in this sort of psychedelic, haunting way is just it's an amazing song. Like very, very good. If you never listened to the song before, anyone who likes the Mamas and Papas never listened to this, go listen to it. As a matter of fact, listen to the if any of the songs from our top 10. Let's go listen because yeah, unless Bryer says John's Music Box is in his top 10, I'm gonna be like, yeah, don't listen to him. But
Don't listen to me.
anything else on our list, go listen to because if it's in our top
Mhm.
10, it's definitely worthy of being in the top 10.
All right, sweet. All right, number six. So now, finally, going to talk about the debut album, which of course, I have both on CD and record back there. Okay, I'm the first one I'm going to go with is definitely one of the early big hits, and that is "Go Where You Want to Go." Um, again, once again, yet another very catchy song. Strings on here just are fantastic. Just the sound of it as well. Again, just a great blend of their vocals. Um, just a really good pop song. Again, a lot of these I don't have a lot to say, but they're just so catchy and just so it just gets stuck in your head. Just so yeah, like, that's gonna be number six.
That's a good pick. Yeah, that's a really good song. Yeah, I wanted that to be my top 10 too, but my top 10. But again, couldn't fit it in there. Sadly, I think it was like hold on, that was like number 22 on my list.
Oh wow, okay,
I mean, there's a lot of great songs, so bound
yeah.
to happen. My number six is the first song from their Deliver album, not the first track on it, but the first song that I'm going to be using on the Deliver album. That is "Free Advice." Yeah,
Okay.
it's I love the sort of jazz pop fusion in this song. Like you have the popness of it, but you also kind of have like jazz with the saxophones, and that is my favorite part of it is the instrumental break from the Wrecking Crew. I love that with the wait, and then they come back with the everybody. I forgot the words. Far, far away. Take that trip somewhere. And then like the way it ends is like how they end straight shooter on their first album with the if you know what I mean. Woo!
Mhm.
And what a fantastic way, especially after especially after a very questionable cover on the album, Twist and Shout. I'm like, could it get any
Mm.
worse than this? And it didn't, thankfully. But yeah, that's a great, great song. Free Advice. Very underrated.
Mhm. Mm. Okay, cool. Okay, we're halfway. So number five, and I'm gonna heading back to the self-titled album from '66. This is definitely one of the deeper cuts on here, and I'm gonna go with "Even If I Could." Um, Again, definitely not a song I hear a lot of people talk about, but yeah, it's just this song has definitely grown the more I hear it. I just really love the melody to it, like na 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 na, how you feel, and that sort of cadence is just like very memorable. Like again, I've just been playing that song for the past week now. But I just love the vocals again. I believe it's Denny on vocals. It's hard to tell, but I'm pretty sure it's Denny. But yeah, it's just a very catchy melody, and I love the horns in the background as well. Just I'm a sucker for horns as well, so that's gonna be pretty high. But yeah, it's just a very underrated song. I think it's just like it's a song like a song that you sometimes forget about, but once you hear it, it's like, oh wow, this is a great song. And so it's definitely shot up way higher than I thought it would. But yeah, it's number five for me.
That's a good pick. My number five is going to be part two of the Fame trilogy. Uh, I know both of us collectively are going to have all three parts on. Well, you have, if I'm correct, correct. You're gonna have all three parts. I only have part two and part three of the Fame trilogy. Part two is Creek Alley, and Creek Alley is basically them enjoying the fame and them being like, hey, this is basically where we came from. This is how we started, and this is how we became
Hmm.
famous. And I love this part of the Fame trilogy because it shows them that they're still happy, they're still happy-go-lucky. Nothing's going wrong yet. Yeah, I love the way that they sing. So cats for the sophomore playing against sophomore, but she changed my mind one day. And like McQueen and McGuire just again high
Hmm.
in LA, you know where that's at. So catchy and McQueen and McGuire and like Zal and Danny looking for a panty. Like Sebastian and Zal boom spoonful. Loving spoonful. You know, I it's like basically how the Loving Spoonful formed and how the Mamas and Papas form. It's like it's fun, such a fun song, and I wanted it to be like if this was a mediocre band, the Mamas and Papas, this would be bar none their best song. But you know,
Hmm.
I think they have four other songs that just top it.
Yeah, that's a really good one. I will say that one barely missed the top 10. I wanted it in, but it just missed it.
Okay,
Um,
so I'm
yeah.
assuming yeah, you have part one and part three then.
Oh yeah, definitely. I already talked about part three, but we'll talk about part one later. All right. Next up, number four. Hey, this is the final song I have from this album. Okay, so next up, I'm gonna go with Dancing Bear. Yeah, and just another really great hidden gem in the catalog, and I'd say it definitely has one of Danny's most definitely one of his best vocal performance. Like again, this song definitely has goes back to that has a more haunting feel to it. It's just this very slow, very mid-tempo type of song, just acoustic guitar mainly, and I'm trying to remember if there were strings on it, but again, it just has this very cool feel to it, a really interesting vibe. You're kind of hypnotized by it, just how it's arranged. It's just another one of the hidden gems in its catalog, to me. So yeah, it's number four.
Especially didn't have any from the third album yet. I mean, yeah, from the third album.
Yeah,
Most of your list is
no,
from the second album so far.
yeah.
Yeah, even if the next two, it's like tied. Like you would have like uh four songs from the second album and then like four songs from the first album. If your next two are from the first album. Yeah, interesting.
Hmm.
Good pick though. Love Dancing Bear. That's another song that didn't quite make it into my top 10. It was at number 12. My number four is gonna be part three of the Fame trilogy. Yes, so we both had part three. Glad we could both agree that song's amazing. I was not expecting at all for that song to be on your list. Very glad it is. You ain't gonna hear me complain about it. I mean, it's my number four, so very haunting. It's such a dark song for the Mamas and Papas. Like the second album gets dark, but this song
Hmm.
just feels depressing. Like the first part, we'll go into that when Bryer talks about it. Second part is what I describe like them happy, them famous, and going back to how they got there. And then this part, it's like they're famous, but I don't know, just think sort of take, even one of the lines like something about like it not being about the dream that they were expecting it to be. Some people might be like, "What dream?" And me and Bryer know what dream they're talking about.
Hmm.
The California dreaming. And yeah, they're like, "Oh, this isn't what we dreamed of. This isn't what we expected." And it's such a dark song, and very glad we both like that song. Oh man, it's amazing. Yeah, Mansions number four.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, it's great. Well, these next three are on the same album. So yeah, next three are going to be from the debut. So yeah, I didn't have any songs that made the top 10 from the third album. I do have honorable mentions, of course, but yeah, just, yeah, those songs barely missed it. But regardless, so the first song I have from the first album, not the first, but the next one I'm gonna go with is again one of their big hits. That's Monday Monday. I mean, yeah. What else is there to say about them? Like it's like the perfect way to start the album. Just right off the bat, you hear the harmony, and then great arrangement from the Wrecking Crew. And then of course you have Denny on lead vocals and just a really great vocal performance as well. Just as just I think I mean it's pretty good. It's pretty obvious why they decided to have this be the first song on the album because again it pretty much is a great introduction to their sound. Again, very bright, but it has a bright sound to it, but yet still has a very melancholic feel, especially with the lyrics. You know, Monday, Monday, so good to me. You know, just about the Monday blues. In that juxtaposition that they do quite often. But yeah, it's just a again great pop song, and yeah, it's a hit for a reason. So yeah, it's number 3. You're muted. Yeah, you're muted there.
Yeah, it didn't make my top 10, sadly. Just gotta look where it was. Yeah, it's at number 24.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. I mean, yeah. My number 3 is from the second album. Bryer already mentioned it. Even if I could. That is an amazing song.
Hell yeah.
Harmonizing. I love the very end when Mama Cass is like deck the boughs of thousand hollies with the Christmas bells almost, and I'm just like they just knew they were just having fun when they were making this, even though there was a lot of turmoil going on. Still, like even through all the turmoil, you still have a little fun, you know. I always like that, like that, and in A Night at the Opera, like they make a song, "She Said Rendezvous," just Roger and Freddie just having a good time, even though that album was make or break for them.
Yeah,
They
pretty
still
much.
wanted to
Yeah,
have fun.
exactly.
I like when bands, even though they're in serious situations, they still could have fun. Like it's not the end of the world. We can still have our fun. When whether it be this channel or somewhere else, when we do ever talk about an the opera, I'm gonna go more into that how I
Mhm.
like about that. But yeah, I love the fun that they're having, even though again there's just some serious stuff going on with relationships and all that. But yeah, number 3, even if I could,
Yeah, that's a great one.
love John's
All right.
vocals by the way.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's great. All right. Okay, number 2. Again, still sticking with the debut. Okay, so this is definitely one of the deeper cuts on here. I was actually kind of shocked because I think when I first heard it, I didn't think much of it. But over time, it's definitely grown. Definitely one of my favorites. And the 5th song on here, and that's "Do You Want to Dance."
I had a feeling that's
Kind of,
gonna be the second best.
yeah,
I had a
yeah,
feeling.
yeah, yeah. It's just like, oh my god, like I'm, I'm not sure how this is an unpopular opinion, but I really love this one. Again, a nice slower song. Again, has this. It sounds like a song you would slow dance to, I guess. But yeah, I just love Danny's vocals on the track. I mean, yeah, he's just killing it on here. And of course, you have Michelle and Cass providing backing, and again, they're just like excellent job. Um, all the little ear candy they do. Yeah, it's just a very beautiful song, and I just yeah, I just play it pretty often. Just love the feel for it. Just a very uplifting, almost type of sound. But yeah, it's a really underrated song, so it's gotta be number 2.
That is an amazing choice. Yeah. Let me see where it's on my list. Oh no, it's actually at number 31.
Oh
Hmm.
wow.
I want to be upset at that, but they have so many great songs. Like,
I
oh
know.
man,
Yeah, exactly.
if they were a mediocre band, and I don't know, I always say that a lot when. Yeah. My number 2, I can't wait. That's
Mm.
favorite song from the second album. I said it in the video. Love how dark it is. I love how mean they are. Love how it's I can't wait. Say goodbye. I can't wait to make you cry. It's just like just Mama and John just like being like I can't wait. I can't wait. There's like a version where it's like there's like studio banter in the beginning and it was like And it's just hear Mama's like, I can't wait, I can't wait, I can't wait. Like they're just like practicing, and John's like, I can't wait, I can't wait. And just think they're just having a fun time, just sort of going, I can't wait. I always think about that when I hear this song. You will be surprised at what my number one pick's gonna be. You'll be like, wow, that's surprised that's our number one. But
Hmm.
yeah. Have any honorable mentions?
Yeah, quite a bit. Not gonna go in any order. I just had them written down, but so of course, Creek Alley was definitely one that almost didn't make the top 10. Other songs like Strange Young Girls, Safe in My Garden, No Salt on Her Tail, Nothing's Too Good for My Little Girl, I Call Your Name, That My Girl, their Temptations cover, Spanish Harlem, Dream a Little Dream of Me, Dedicated to the One I Love, and yeah, I'm just gonna quickly I'll throw in one more, even though their last album is not that great. I mean, I try to highlight at least one song that was decent, and if I were to recommend one song from their final album, I guess I would go with Snow Queen of Texas. But yeah, that's like a good variety there. So that's my honorable mentions.
Okay, yeah, their worst song is John's Music Box, but their worst regular song in the first 60 catalog is their cover of Twist and Shout.
Yeah,
Very,
I agree.
very, yeah. But yeah, my top and like number 46 is My Girl. I don't know, not a fan of that cover. I don't know,
Mm,
especially after Tastes Like Music like destroyed Dancing in the Street, but then they're like, oh, for every My Girl they have Dancing in the like they have Dancing in the Street. I'm like, it's the other way around. But uh, I'm
mm,
just do my top 25, like 25 to 11. 25 California Dreaming, 24 Monday Monday, 23 Spanish Harlem, 22 Go Where You Want to Go, 21 Trip Someone Fall, 20 Dancing in the Street, 19 That Kind of Girl from their second album, No Song on Her Tail at number 18, String Man at number 17. 16, The Right Somebody to Love slash Safe in My Garden. I consider that to be one big song. Number 15, For the Love of Ivory. I love that song. I really wanted that to be my top 10, but I just couldn't squeeze it in there. Number 14, Blow Through My Window. Number 13, Meditation Mama. And 12, Dancing Bear. And number 11, 12:30. What is your number one?
well, it's gonna be no shock to anybody. But yeah, it's gotta be the big one. It's gotta be California Dreamin'. Not because I live in California. Okay, that's part of it. But regardless, it's still. I mean, it's a big hit. They're big. One of their most well-known songs for a reason. I mean, to me, when I think Mamas and Papas, this is the song I think of. I mean, it starts with that memorable acoustic guitar intro, and then it just goes right into it with the all the leaves are brown, and then the female come in repeating that and that little call and response that they do. It's just absolutely incredible. And it's really love the Denny's little moment where it's just him and he's just like he just really puts more grit into the vocal, and that's something I don't really hear much. I kind of wish Denny did more of that, where he put more grit into his vocals. I don't think he does it that often, not as much as I remember at least. But yeah, I just loved how he did that line. And then you have that so great flute solo. Like they've done a couple flute solos throughout this catalog, but this is by far my favorite one. Just yeah, sounds amazing, and then goes back into the main melody, and yeah, it's just like again, like I said before, it pretty much encapsulates everything that made them great. Great harmony, great production, great arrangement. Yeah, it's fantastic, and so it's number one.
Flute Solo is my second favorite. My favorite's the one, the beginning of Free Advice. That's my favorite, but California Dreaming is amazing. Yeah, I kind of wish the same thing too. I wish Denny went a little more rougher with his voice. I feel like he was
Mhm.
very polished for the rest of his songs.
Yeah,
It is a shame. Um, I will say, never listen to the original version. You might be like, this is the original version. No,
yeah,
Barry
I
McGuire did
remember.
it
Yeah.
originally, and
Hmm.
don't ever listen to that version unless you want to know how the song was originally. The flute solo was actually a harmonica solo at
Yeah.
first.
Hmm.
It's not good. It's not
It's
good at
just,
all.
it's just very odd.
Like when you expect John and Danny to say the all the leaves are brown part, and then you just hear all the leaves are brown. And I'm just like, no, 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 no. I would say
Yeah.
like the middle, like the middle section where you say Danny has his moment. There are two parts that was cut off of it with the where Mamas and Papas were like stuck into
Actually, I
a
did. Hmm.
church, passed along the way. Like
Hmm.
that was actually gonna be in there, but I guess what I assume happened is that they wanted Danny to have what kind of like what you said, have Danny his own moment. So I guess they deleted that so that they could, you know, give him his moment. And
Yeah.
I'm glad they did. Even though I do like them doing that, like like every time I listen to it now, I always do the like the stuck into a church. I'm just thinking stuck
Hmm.
into a church,
Hmm.
passed along the way, passed along the way. It's just that's just engraved in my mind, and
Hmm.
you could think if you listen to it very closely,
Yeah.
either that or like put it on the right or left channel. You could
Hmm.
think
Yeah. You
you
can
can
faintly
still faintly
hear
hear them,
him in
faintly
in
hear
the beginning.
"Pass along the way." And obviously, they didn't get rid of all of it. Even
Yeah.
like I think like in the beginning of the song, when you put it on the left channel, it's like
Hmm.
all the wizard, and it's like
Yeah. You can
oh
like faintly still hear him a little bit.
yeah, like yeah, it's interesting. It's such an interesting story. I wish they did that more with songs that like. I wish they did more with songs that they like did backup vocals on his album. I showed you some of the songs on that
Yeah.
album.
Mhm.
It would have been nice if they did that more because I think the Mamas and Papas are much better vocally than Barry McGuire.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah, yeah. It's a lost opportunity. It's a shame.
Mm.
My favorite song off of them isn't from the first album, isn't from the second album, isn't from the third album, isn't even from the fourth album, and isn't even on the fifth album either. It's a
Really?
non-album single.
Oh wow.
Yes,
Okay.
Glad to Be Unhappy.
Oh yeah. I
I
think yeah, you brought that up
love
before.
I love that song. I
Hmm.
really, really love that song. It's just the way Mama Cass sings it. Fools rushing, so here I am, awfully glad to be unhappy. It's just like, who would be glad to be unhappy? Even though it's a
Hmm.
cover, I know it's weird to have a cover as my favorite, but I don't know. Their vocal harmonies are just so good. It's just so much happens in like less than 2 minutes, and I love that song. But yeah, um,
Yeah. Cool. Cool. Yeah. I
I'm just
totally
gonna
forgot about
recap.
that one.
Oh yeah, you think it would have been an honorable mention?
Maybe I have to hear it again. But I remember. I remember. I know we had to listen to it for one of the previous episodes. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I liked it.
Okay, so
Probably not.
I'm gonna
Probably an
recap.
honorable mention.
Yeah, it's so upsetting that it wasn't on the Deliver album. It's better
Mm.
than so many other songs on that album. It's better than that music box thing, whatever the hell that was.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm gonna recap your list, and I'm gonna recap my list. Your 10 was Ship Double Fall from the second album. Your 9 was I Saw Her Again Last Night from the second album. Your number 8 was Mansions from your fourth album. What I call the third part from the Fear Fame trilogy.
Hmm.
Your number 7 was 12:30 off the fourth album. Your number 6 was Go Where You Want to Go from the first album. Fifth one was Even If I Could from the second album. Dancing Bear from the second album's your fourth pick. Number 3, Monday Monday from the first album. Do You Want to Dance from the first album? And California Dreaming from the first album was your first pick at number 1. I'm not gonna go which album it was from mine. But number 10, Hey Girl. Number 9, You Baby. Number 8, I Saw Her Again. Number 7, Strange Young Girls. Number 6, Free Advice. Number 5, Freak Alley. Number 4, Mansions. Number 3, from second album, Even If I Could. Number 2, from the second album, I Can't Wait. And my number 1 spot, not even an album track, an unwanted track. if I say. Glad to be unhappy. Number one. Um, but without further ado, let's get into our album ranking. Of course, you start number five. You start number five. I start by five, four, three, two, one. The obvious.
Yes. Well, I'm pretty confident we're probably gonna have the same bottom one. So it goes. I mean, it goes
Confident.
without saying. Sorry.
Sorry. I feel like I'm feeling confident we're gonna have the same bottom two.
Yeah, I think so too. But yeah, at the bottom, yeah, it's gotta go with. I gotta go with people like us. I mean, I know it's. I know it. I think it was Michelle, but I know one of them said that. Yep, it sounds like a group of people trying to avoid a lawsuit, and yep, it sounds like it definitely. I mean, I wouldn't say it's horrible. Like, I don't think it's definitely not the worst album I've heard. But again, there's just nothing really that's memorable about it. Again, aside from Snow Queen from Texas, pretty much the rest of the album is pretty forgettable. I mean, it's produced well. I mean, sounds nice, but the songs just, but a lot of pretty much the majority of the songs just the songwriting definitely took a hit. Um, Again, it was basically it was just this album was basically made it just to fill just to you know finish the contract deal or whatever. And yeah, just sounds like they don't really want to be there. They're just going through the motions. They just want to get it done. Just have something. Here's your album. All right, now we can finally break up for good now. But yeah, it's definitely it's kind of a shame that they kind of went out on a very weak note. But it is what it is. But yeah, that's my bottom one by a long shot.
Yeah, I agree with you. This is number five. Um, this thing is
Yep, actually found it.
yeah. If this thing wasn't so cheap for $7, I wouldn't have bought it. Yeah, because my mom was with Papa's collection. I'd say the only good thing about this album is the back of it, like cool photos.
Mm,
I like
yeah,
Danny there with the
that's a good one.
beard. Yeah, that's the only compliment I'm giving this album. Whole thing sucks. Uh, I mean, they're not bad songs, but for Mamas and Papa standards, they suck. Uh, I'll leave it at that. If you want to see if you want to see our very in-depth video where we say so much about the album, no, just kidding. We Most of the review is just me saying like, oh yeah, some Mamas and Papa's song. Yeah, on a Mamas and Papa's album, you know. But oh man, that sucks. That really sucks. I agree. What a horrible way to end off their catalog.
Right. Okay, moving on to number four. Number four for me, and I am gonna go with their third album, which is Deliver. Okay, so after the first two albums, we get to hear, and this was definitely Kitty. So this is where cracks were definitely starting to show. This was around the time again the affairs start happening, and of course that's gonna cause a lot of tension in the band. And I think by this point, John was starting to get a little bit burnt out uh, around this time because a lot of the songs here are covers, and most of them are kind of average. Um, I mean, there's some decent songs like I had dedicated to the one I love as an honorable mention, and I do like their version of My Girl. But yeah, and also Creek Alley is also on here, so that's also gotta shout that one out. But again, there's some weak stuff on here, like their cover Twist and Shout, which is kind of yeah, doesn't really do much. Let's see, uh, and of course, has their probably their biggest throwaway song, which is John's Music Box. It's just pure filler. Just I don't know why it's even on here. Um, and also wasn't too crazy about Frustration or Boys and Girls Together. Again, just didn't feel that memorable or didn't really speak to me. But again, it's not a horrible album, but compared to the albums they released prior, this was definitely a bit of a step down from the other two. So yeah, I do prefer the next three a lot better. So other than that, that's all I gotta say about Deliver.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I have to agree with you on that. Number four, Deliver. Yeah, I don't know about this album. I mean, right away, the first like big red flag already. First song's not an original; it's a cover. That's a huge red flag. And another huge red flag: all the covers on the first half of the record. First four of the songs are covers. That's not first four songs in a row, but Vegas Will I Love, Sing for Your Supper, Just and Shout My Girl. There are like four covers on one side. That's that's crazy. The last album there was only two covers on the first side of the second album, and those were the only two covers on the album was the two, and even then the covers were great. My Heart Stood Still, Dancing in the Street, those are amazing covers. Then you get these mediocre covers. Even the best of the covers are not that good in my opinion. That it is just well, I wouldn't say it's not good, but for the context of the Mamas and Papas, I'm like, really, is this really what you got? And I already presented the thing that I'm like, maybe John was just burnt out, like maybe he was just dry, kind of like how Pete Townsend was on the Who by Numbers. Like maybe
Yeah.
this was all he had, like, that was all he got. That's that. I mean, right? Like another thing is they had a song that they recorded for the second album that they didn't think was good enough for the second album, but all of a sudden it's good for the third album. Look through my window. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, that along with a Wrecking Crew song. Some people are like, "What do you mean Wrecking Crew song?" Frustration is not a Mamas and Papas track. I
Mm-hmm.
made that very clear when we reviewed the album. It is not a Mamas and Papa track. It is a Wrecking Crew song.
Yeah, it's just more
So
filler.
just put in parentheses, Wrecking Crew, not Mamas and Papas. Even if John's on it with the guitar, it's still a Wrecking Crew song. I don't care what anyone says. That is not a Mamas and Papas track. Then there's John's music box, which is just straight up filler. They're gonna just put. Why didn't they just put up "Glad to Be Unhappy"? That song's way better than that. I think it's my favorite Mamas and Papa song, and that's the best cover. That's like my favorite cover
Mm-hmm.
that they did. Why wasn't that on the album? That's better than "Sing for Your Supper." It's much better than "My Girl." It's much better than "Twist and Shout." Much better than those three covers. Much better than "Dedicated to the Ones I Love." Like much better than John's music box. It's better than Frustration. It's like that one song is better than like half the album, and I don't know. They made some very bad decisions on that
Mm-hmm.
album. Yeah, yeah. I still like it. I gave it like 9 out of 10. Probably, I still gave it a 9 out of 10 because there are a lot of great songs on it. I mean, Creek Alley, I love. Uh, I love Free Advice. I love Look Through My Window, despite it being recorded for the second album. I love Boys and Girls Together. I love String Man. I really love String Man. Do You Ever Want to Cry is great. Uh, Even Frustration, I kind of like the instrumental, but it's a fun instrumental, but not Mamas and Papa's track. But yeah, that's my thoughts. Number four, Deliver.
All right. All right. So I think at this point on, we're gonna differ now. So number three, I'm gonna go with the Papas and the Mamas from 1968. I did re-listen to it again. I did re-listen to it again, getting ready for this, because when we did the review, I only had time to listen to it once, and so again, I had to want to re-listen to this again. Still stands at number three. I think it's grown on me a little bit more since then. But yeah, like you've been saying, this is their most experimental album. And good on them for actually trying something new. Definitely a step back up from the previous album. So you have a lot more psychedelic influences here. Again, some songs that really stood out to me were "Safe in My Garden," "Dream a Little Dream of Me," "Mansions," of course, which is in my top 10. "Nothing Too Good for My Little Girl" was an honorable mention. 12:30 is very nice. I think "For the Love of Ivory" was also a song that I really liked. So yes, some great songs here. Um, I, I will say there are some songs, especially the songs that have more experimentation. For me personally, some of them doesn't quite speak to me. Not to say it's bad. Like it's not bad. It's not, none of the experimentation is bad, but it's just like not really stuff I would go for. Like Meditation Mama, I think that goes on a bit too long. And so yeah, and also has that keyboard. I don't know. It has a weird keyboard piano thing that keeps playing and got kind of grating for after a little bit. Um, Gemini Child, kind of again another one that goes a bit too long, and didn't quite work for me. Um, it's also weird because that one has like the heaviest guitar sound on any Mamas and Papa song, and I guess I don't want to see the Mamas and Papas get too heavy. Um, but but again, those are just like little nitpicks. I still think it's a very good album. But yeah, I definitely would want to get it at some point just to have it. But yeah, it's a good album, but I just like the next two a little bit.
Yeah, I get it. My number three is going to their debut album. Uh, if you could believe your eyes and ears. If you could believe your eyes and ears, that if you could believe your eyes and ears is my third pick. Yeah, I mean, this is not this copy, but first record I ever bought. So that should tell you how
Yeah.
much I like this album. Uh, Monday is amazing. Straight Shooter I love. Got a Feeling is good, but not as good. Call Your Name, one of the few cases where not only is it better than the Beatles original, but it's just like it makes the Beatles original pathetic. Do You Want to Dance? Amazing song. Very glad to see it on your top 10, Bryer.
Hmm.
Go Where You Want to Go is amazing. Their first single. It's a shame that single didn't go anywhere on its
Yeah.
original release. California Dreaming, of course, the big one. Uh, Iconic for a reason. Spanish Harlem's amazing. Somebody Groovy, I love that song. Uh, Hey Girl, I love. You Baby is great. One of the main reasons why I put this under the next album kind of goes off on a little tiny bit of a throwaway. I could care less for the in crowd. To me, it sounds like something that the Birds would do at the end of their albums. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of that one. But 11 out of 10 amazing songs out of 12. That's a great. That's a good plus for a band that's just starting out. I mean, these Dex albums are all 10 out of 10. So take that as you will. But
Yeah.
yeah, number three, if you believe your eyes and ears.
Okay. All right. Number two. All right. Number two. I'm gonna go with their number. I'm gonna go with number two, aka their second album, which is self-titled. All right. Now this one definitely grew on me the most when we first reviewed. I think when we first reviewed it, I thought it was pretty good. But now definitely have gone up a little bit. Um, yeah, just a really good follow up to the debut. I mean, again, so many really great memorable songs on here, like No Salt on Her Tail. I already had Trip, Stumble and Fall in my top 10. Same with Dancing Bear. But there were some other songs that I really, and also I almost forgot. I saw her again last night was another one I mentioned, as well as Even If I Could. So many songs from this album made my top 10. But some other songs that stood out. You have I, I have Words of Love. I actually do enjoy their version of Dancing in the Street. I think it's just a fun song. There's nothing wrong with it. Strange Young Girls was an honorable mention. I Can't Wait was an honorable mention. Um, there were just maybe three tracks that probably could do without, like My Heart Stood Still and Once with a Time I Thought. Like those are kind of like just short, very short, like I guess transitional type of songs or whatever. But yeah, I could do without those tracks. And That Kind of Girl, not one of my favorite songs as well. But still, in terms of follow-up albums, I think this is a very solid one. And again, the history of this album is very fascinating, especially regarding the album cover. You can watch our review of that. I kind of go a little bit in depth about that, about what happened with the album cover. But yeah, it's a really good album, and I really enjoyed it. My second favorite.
Yeah, I think you rated it 9.5 out of 10.
Yeah,
But as for me, my number two is going to be the Papas and Mamas, their 1968 album.
yeah, there you go. Yeah,
Um, what a fantastic way to end off their career. Yeah, this is a great way to end off their discography. There's definitely not a 1971 album called People Like Us.
no, of course not.
This is their real fault. This is what I consider to be their real final album. Um, love love Dream a Little Dream of Me. Love Gemini Child. I will agree it does go on a tiny bit long, but I still love the song. I love how heavy it is. For the Love of Ivy, what a fun track. That's a song I really wanted in my top 10. I was just like, for the love of Ivy. It's like Papa John and Papa Denny like both had co-writing and like who the heck is this Ivy person that they're talking about? Like I want to meet this Ivy girl. Be like, hey, two people wrote a song about you.
Yeah,
Uh, Mansions is Mansions and don't have to say anything else. That sounds amazing. Meditation Mama. I don't agree with that. I think it's perfectly linked. I love the keyboards. I love this song so much. Midnight Voyage. What a fantastic song. I love the little break in the middle where they started rehearsing and like John's like put the earphones on and turn off the AC. Oh no, midnight voyage. It's just like, and then the song comes back up. I always thought that was fun, like a fun way to end off their career. Nothing's too good for my little girl. It's decent, not one of my favorites. Same with the Room. Those two songs I could care less for. I mean, I take those two songs over the In Crowd, and I've got a feeling. Well, especially the In Crowd, I could take those two songs over that any day. Safe in My Garden is amazing. With Write Somebody to Love, those two songs go really hand in hand. Too Late is amazing, and of course, 12:30. What a fantastic song! And they predicted how Steve Tower would look in another.
right.
Yes,
Yeah,
Steve Tower.
yeah, that's where we gotta start.
Yep, he was a big fan of the Mamas and Papas.
Yep. All right. Well, as for my number one, I mean, it goes without saying, I'm back here for a reason. And it's the only Mamas and Papas album I have. But yeah, gotta go with the debut, if you can believe your eyes and ears. I mean, yeah, that's pretty much a lot of my favorite songs are on here. And to me personally, I think this is the perfect 60s pop album. I mean, like, I enjoy pretty much every song on here. Like, even I'd say the last four songs are probably not the strongest songs on the album, but even I still enjoy them. Like, I'll still listen to them on occasion. Of course, has a lot of the songs on here made my top 10, like Monday, Monday, Do You Want to Dance, Go Where You Want to Go. Of course, has California Dreaming, and even had some honorable mentions that were I mentioned, like I Call Your Name, Spanish Harlem. Um, some other great songs like Straight Shooter, just a really good kind of pop rock sort of sound. Um, some Somebody Groovy, Hey Girl, You Baby, and I disagree a little bit. I really enjoy The In Crowd. I don't really think it's much of a jokey song or whatever. I'd rather listen to this than any of the Joke Bird stuff. But besides the point. But
Yeah,
still, to
that
me,
kind of goes. That kind of goes without saying though. Like, I
yeah,
take the In Crowd over Go Ride the Learjet,
yeah,
Go Ride the
exactly.
Learjet, baby.
But yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's number one, my favorite, and that didn't really change. I was kind of hoping one of the albums would beat it, but now this is my favorite. So there you go.
Well, for me, it does get beaten by one. Well, it got beaten by two albums. But
Mhm.
I mean, it's weird. The fourth album I prefer over the first album, but I have more songs from the first album than the fourth album. Like, I have two from the first album, but one from the fourth album. But I guess in my mind, well, I do prefer Mansions over the two, but it's
No?
weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. My number one is their self-titled album. Well, we were kind of switched on this. Like,
Yeah. A little
no,
bit.
number two is that. Yeah. But yeah. I love this album. I love this album. This album is so good. Where do I to begin? Uh, no Solar Under Tale is what a beautiful opening. Um, yeah, I love that song. Technically, you could call the album Cast John Michelle Denny. That's on the spine of the album.
Yeah.
Can't see it from here, but that's great.
Yeah, it does on the CD.
No, really, that's
Yeah,
cool.
a little bit.
You think you'll ever own this on record? Yeah.
I
You
mean, if
think
I
you'll
can
ever own
find
this
it,
on record?
if I find it, I'll probably see how much it is, and maybe I'll pick it up.
Cool. Trip Stumble and Fall is amazing. Dancing Bear, that song is just so amazing. Words of Love is amazing. Do prefer the mono version though. My Heart Stood Still is great. Can't See in the Street. I will forever disagree with Taste Like Music.
Mm-hmm.
This is an amazing cover. Side 2, I Saw Her Again. I love that. Strange Young Girls. Can't wait. Even if I could. That kind of girl. Once was the time I thought these. This second side is the big reason why it's on my top. Is my number one. Side 2, I probably listen to the most out of all the Mamas and Papas sides. Like if we ever did a Mamas and Papas sides ranking, this would be number one. Side 2. Then I would probably say my second favorite Mamas and Papas side would be either side 1 of If You Could Believe Your Eyes and Ears or side 2 of If You Could Believe Your Eyes and Ears. I know my bottom 4 would be basically the
Yeah.
side 1, 2, side 1 and 2 of Deliver and People Like Us, but the rest of them are fair game. Uh,
Yeah.
that's our ranking. If you don't mind recapping what your ranking is.
All right. So my ranking of the albums was number 5, People Like Us. Number 4, Deliver. Number 3, The Papas and the Mamas. Number 2, The Mamas and the Papas. And then number 1, If You Can Believe Your Eyes and Ears.
Okay. My number 5, People Like Us. Number 4, Deliver. I mean, those two. I think everyone could agree those two are the bottom two. I can't imagine anyone saying that Deliver or People Like Us could be. Well, not only could it not be their bottom 2 or 1, but could possibly be their favorite. I can't imagine that. Right, the other 3, I could totally see. Number 3, if you could believe your eyes and ears, I could see why anyone. I could see why a lot of people have that as your favorite. That's a 10 out of 10 album. Number 2, Papas and Mamas. That's another one where I could see it could be at anyone's favorite. And number 1, self-titled, or hold on, or if you want to be technical, Cass, John, Michelle, Denny.
Yeah.
If you want to be technical, it even has it on the album cover.
Yeah, that's true.
If you want to be a smarty pants, be cool with the smarty kids. But
You can be with the genius.
Yep, the genius. The genius would have been tearing us apart if I didn't mention that. You would have been like, no, that's not the name of the album. Okay. Thank you guys. Any final words you got to say about the Mamas and Papas? Like any last things?
I think I pretty much summed it up in the beginning, but yeah, this was a lot of fun. Kind of exploring the catalog. Like I said, a lot of hidden gems that I discovered through this. And yeah, it was just very enjoyable listen. Very good. Overall, very solid catalog. Not perfect, but very solid. And of course, I'm looking forward to the next series.
Yeah, they're just a they're just a great band. So next up, Birmingham, United Kingdom. We're going to be reviewing Black Sabbath. Yes, we're going to the United Kingdom. We're taking a full 360 from bubblegum happiness, sunshine pop band as the Mamas and Papas. We're going to Black Sabbath. It's always so fun to like go from one thing to another. Like,
Yeah.
We go from birds, folk pop to bubblegum pop to Black Sabbath. That's very excited to review Black Sabbath. Very excited. Staying tuned for that next week. I know Brier's excited for that.
I got a shirt and everything.
Yep. Stay tuned.